Hi everyone. I've been given a few tablets. They were all broken. So two of them I've thrown away because the screen's intact, everything's intact, but they don't power on. And the things are only like £10 each anyway, so I thought there's no point. This one though, this is an Acer Iconia and it's good quality. There were two of these. As I tried to get the back off one, I shattered the screen on one, so I chucked that one away. But this one is good, and I just thought I'd investigate to find out what's going on with it. So the first thing that I do with these is try to turn them on. If it doesn't turn them on, if it doesn't turn on, then the next thing I do after that is charge the battery, or try to. If there's no indication that it's charging by USB, then I force it to charge. So to force it to charge, I take the back off, I solder something to the battery, like that. There's the battery terminal there. I soldered all the black wires together and all the red wires together, then soldered a semi-component or a wire or something to it. Incidentally, that one can come off. This is the ground wire, connecting the blacks together. But you don't always need to do that, and in this case you don't. So what I've got is I've got my UPS, not UPS, sorry, power supply, bench power supply, and I set it to 4.3 volts or 4.2, and now I connect ground. It doesn't really matter where, although it can matter, but in this situation it won't matter too much. So connect it to ground and leave it for a while, let it charge up. So after it's charged up, which is now, because I let this charge overnight, I will check the voltage. Now if the battery voltage is 4.2 or near, then that tells me that the charging went well. So let's just check this out. So it's 3.8. That means that it's not fully charged. However, it might be my desktop power supply acting strange. I have done this before. Let's check. So it's off now. Just turn it on, connect these together. It should take 5 amps. No, 1 amp, okay. That's because it's got a limiter on it. Put that up to 5 amps. There we go. Now, so it hasn't charged. So let's try this again. Okay, right, it's because the battery isn't taking any charge anymore. I wonder why. So it's 4.3 volts, not taking any charge. Let me just check this again. Yep, 5 amps, so it is working. Just lower this down, try again. No. So it's not taking any charge. Now, I'm not sure why at the moment. 3.8 volts, however, that should be enough to turn it on. So let's see if it will turn on. It should do. Okay. It is turning on. Could do with a cloth or something to weight this down. Okay, it's turning on. Okay, so because the tablet works when I charge the battery by force, in other words, when I apply the voltage straight across the terminals here, the battery terminals, it charges. And it doesn't charge when I plug the micro USB thing in. It tells me that the charging circuit doesn't work. And if you want to do it properly, you would change the charging chip, or you could change the motherboard, or you could change the board here, whichever one it is that's broken. You can actually test this here to see if it works by putting the the micro USB in here and checking various points around here to look for 5 volts. You could do it that way. Actually looks a little bit burnt there as well, so maybe the problem is here. Or maybe not. Never really know with these things. Could swap that cable with the other one because there is another one. But I don't think it's worth it for the price it is. Anyway, so I want a quick fix. I don't really care about the details. basically the problem is that this battery doesn't charge, and that's why it came to me dead. So I need a quick way to make it charge. So I've got one of these. This is TP4056A, and this is basically an 18650. Well, I won't say 18650. It's basically a lithium one-cell charger. In fact, it's even one cell. I don't parallel. It's just one parallel block charger. And I could just solder this in somewhere, maybe even there, as long as it's electrically insulated. And I could wire this directly to the battery, and whenever I want to charge it, instead of charging it the normal way, I could just charge the battery directly. I think that would work. So should I do that? I've done various tests here and it's not charging there. So if I just add my own charging circuit, that would work. It's a very rough fix though. It's not something I'd ever do professionally. But since this tablet's going to be thrown away otherwise, I may as well. So let's find the back. Okay, this is the back. What should I do here? I could have this like that, but then it'd end up getting ripped off at some point. It needs to be on an angle if it's like that. Could put it in there maybe, but then I'd have to... No, I'm not sure about that either. In there is ideal. If I could jam it in there like that, sticking up, and then drill this case, that would work. Yeah. This is space for a... Is it one of those M2 cards, I think? Yeah, I think this is probably the best way. I could glue it to there, that would work as well. Could even glue it to the back there, couldn't I? Glue it to the back of that. But I think here is probably the best bet. With some epoxy resin. And have that sticking up like that through the case. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I've got lots of different types of wire I could use, but for this I'm going to use silicone wire. Let's go for about here. I'd say that's probably enough. Yeah, so silicone or high temperature wire. Yeah, that should be enough, I'd say. So, they're going to go there like that. Put those two wires in there. It's going to stick up here. That should be fine. I'll just trim the insulation off this. And this one, I need to trim it off both ends. It might be too much wire really, but we'll see. Take this off here and here. Yeah, so this is a very, very rough repair. I was going to say it's not really something I'd recommend, but if the tablet's for free and you're going to throw it away if it's not repaired, then I don't see why not really. Got a bit of solder here. Okay, I'll try to solder this. Okay, that's that end soldered. Try to do this on camera so you can see. Okay, and these two. It's tricky with these little pieces of wire. You need 3 hands to do this really. There we go. And the last part. There we go. Right. I'll take this resistor off here. And solder these little pieces in instead. Now, I want them this angle really. That one's in, and now this one. There we go. That one wasn't quite hot enough there. That's better. So I've got these new pieces in place. Now bat plus and bat minus. So I'm going to use the output parts. Obviously the input is going to be on USB, so I'm not going to need to use those, so I'll use the output parts. Now, bat minus, these wires are a bit too big really, but I can always push them to the side like that. Now, we need some tape under there really, but then if I'm going to glue it, I'll just do it rough for now, like this. Yeah. Put some solder on this. I'll burn through the battery if I do it there, I'll do it here. Put plenty of solder on there. Okay. Then solder this in place. So black, that's minus. This is going to be a little bit difficult. Okay, the minus is in place, and the plus in place. So now we've got a charging module soldered to the tablet. So its own charging functionality is broken. So I've added this thing in. So again, this is a TP4056A. So if you've got a tablet that won't charge and it's lithium, you could use one of these. The downside is that you won't, or the tablet won't know that it's being charged, which might not be ideal. Well, it's not, so it might not be ideal, it's not ideal. But, you know, like I said, I don't care. It's a free tablet, I'm only going to throw it away if I don't fix it anyway, so. Right. The next thing, we need to fix it in place, and we've got to make sure that it's insulated electrically. Because if those two touch, of course, if I was to short those two together, you'd get sparks. So there's a few different things we could do. We could put tape around it, could do stuff like that. But I'm going to use epoxy resin because it's very, very strong. But before I do that, I want to prepare this. So I'd say it's about, I'll just mark it on here, there's a knife here somewhere. I'd say about here. You want that sticking up as well, so I'd say about, it's about there somewhere. About there to there, I'd say. And then this way it is about here. So I've drawn a little rectangle there, and I'm going to cut that out. I'm actually going to drill it out because I think it'll be easier. Now this is unlikely to be perfect, I'm aware of that, but go through anyway. Okay. Clear this rubbish out of the way. So how's this looking now? Yeah, it's not far off. Right. I need to get this rubbish off here. These burrs. Copper. Quite a good quality tablet this. Okay, get that copper off there. And I'll probably have to make this a bit bigger because, well, let's see if it's going to fit in. No, so I will need to make that a bit bigger, so I'll just do this with a knife. This isn't very sharp anymore though, but I'll try. Okay, we've got a bit of a rectangle there now on this side. Okay. Let's try that. Yeah, it's somewhere near, isn't it? And that's going to have to stick up a little bit as well, so it's going to do something like that. I'll need to make it a bit bigger, I think. I'll need to cut some of this copper away, just to make sure that it doesn't short anything together. So remove that copper sheet. Okay, so there we go. We may have a chance with that now. I'm not sure about the angle, so look at this. Probably needs to go in there like that. Okay, I may need to make this a bit bigger. Okay, so I've cut an area away there so they can't short circuit, I hope. I'll cut a bit more away as well, but I've also cut out a little rectangle there. So basically that's going to go through there like that. The little micro, what's the name, connector. And this will go through here like that. and that's how I'm going to charge the tablet. Alright, now I'll just check to see that, yeah, okay. I need to cut a bit more away from here, just to be sure, because you really don't want that to be shorting against the battery, because it would do. That'll do. Okay, I will insulate it anyway, but yeah. Right, what's next? So, next I want to make sure that it does charge. So if it's charging, I should see a red light here. Oh, blue then. No, it's blue if it's charged, red if it's charging, I think. Well, it's going anyway, so I'm happy that it's working. I'll check the voltage though. What does it say here? 4.2 volts. In will be 5. Yeah. 4.2. 4.2. That's interesting. Let me just undo this. Okay. Yeah, it's working. Right, what's next? Just move this out of the way. The glue I'm going to use for this, to put this stuff together, is called epoxy resin. So, it comes like this. You get the resin and you get a hardener. Is that pushing through there? Oh, that's strong. Okay. That's ridiculous. Why is that so thick? Whoa, that's ridiculous. Let's try this. That aluminium has got to be a millimetre thick or something ridiculous. Anyway, mix them over here, so... Okay, put some on there. We're going to have the same problem with this one? Oh no, I don't think we are. No, that one's normal. And the hardener. I mix these 1 to 1. I'm pretty sure that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so we've got the resin and the hardener. Mix them together. You get this little spatula thing. Mix it together well. So this dries very hard. It's a really, really good product. And it goes like a translucent white colour. So according to the instructions, you're supposed to apply it straight away, but I don't do that because it's better if you wait, in my opinion. Wait a few minutes. It's supposed to set in 5 minutes, but it doesn't. It's about 10 minutes. You're better off waiting until it gets sticky and then applying it. Because otherwise you're just holding liquid together for 5 minutes, you know. I love the way it does that. See the way it sinks in. Anyway, this is going to be quite difficult as well. I've got to put that on there and hold it in place. So it's not going to be the easiest of things to do. You've got to do it like that. about time. Put some on there. There's the first helping, I would say. Push this in here. Now, see if I can put some down there as well. I want to get this on the case though. We can get some down there. A bit more ideally. That should be enough. Okay, now I'll focus my attention on this. Alright, so I've glued that thing in place. You can see it now. Epoxy resin, it's really hard and it's done. Unfortunately I got a tiny bit of glue in the actual socket, so that's not ideal, but it still goes in and it still works. You can see there's a little blue light. See, down there, that's the charger module. So that's where it's going to go. I also put some epoxy resin on there. Oh, why didn't I do that before? I should have done that before, that was much better. Anyway, I put some epoxy resin on there so that it gives a plastic, well, base for this thing to sit on really, so that it can't arc or anything, because otherwise it would. Also, I'll put some tape on as well, just to be sure. Put some tape across here and here, just in case it arcs on something. Okay, so that's that done. Now I've got to put this together and put this clip in as well. Okay, it's a clip. The clip's in. Now I'm going to put this together somehow. That's still on? Yeah, it is. I'm going to somehow put this together now. I think it goes like that. Oh, look at this. Okay, that seems to have worked. Now I can screw it together. With these things. So there are 4 screws, and then there are a few fascia panels. There's one of the screws. 2. 3 and 4. There's another screw somewhere. It looks like I might have lost it. Come on, get in. Is it that's in the wrong hole? And one more to go in after this. We've got another one here somewhere. There's one. That's it. And now the little fascia things. Okay, so presumably you just push these in. Yeah, that seems to have worked. It seems to have worked fine. Right, so the other one now, this one. Push this in here. And the last one. push that in. And there we go, so I've got a fully repaired tablet, and it is taking charge, or is it? What's going on here? Hang on. Let's see if it's taking charge. Yeah, 800 milliamps. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's a few minutes later, well about 10 minutes later, and you can see that 95%. So it is charging. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.